Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Purpose Talk brought to you by Shameless with Innocentia. It's about purpose, passion, courage, and healing. So today I have very few special guests who will be joining us in the conversation about life, about dreams, where they are now, what were the challenges along the way. So I want to open with this. Quote by Jim Rohn. He says, if you don't design your own life plan, chances are you will fall into somebody else's life plan. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much. So I want to open with that quote. Let's keep it in mind in our conversation. So I'm gonna allow my guests to introduce themselves briefly, who they are, what are they all about.
My name is Mlati Maposa. I am an entrepreneur. My core business is mainly farming, and I also do. I'm also in a tire business. Moment for me to come and give a bit of a brief of who I am and how I found my purpose.
Thank you. I'm Queen V. Suzani, based in Carltonville. Thank you very much, Innocentia, as they call you. But then
you can still call me Puzaza.
That's okay, great, thank you. Yeah, thank you for this platform. I really appreciate it. Mina, I'm into printing business. Basically, I'm from the mines actually. Then after the mines, I started the printing business, and I'm also into livestock as well. I've got a bit of cows. So yeah, I'm happy to be here and to just tell you a little bit about who Queen V is, what she's about, and her purpose in life. Thank you.
My opening quote, it was by Jim Rohn, talking about the issue of if you don't have any life plan, people will plan your life, or you will be a part of other people's plans. So Maposa, how has your life plan been growing up? What is it what kind of dreams did you have growing up, and how has that turned over the years?
Okay, Puzaza, you know what? I think you've hit it. Your quote, it should really make an impact, and I think for me personally, I think I was trapped growing up. I must say. After completing my matric, I happened to be fortunate and to be accepted at one of the great universities. I think if I'm not mistaken, you happen to be my fellow, or if I'm not mistaken. But to be quite brief, what happened is I had quite a lot of peer pressure, whereby immediately after being accepted, I happened to be appointed and serve in one of the big four companies in the banking sector. And immediately after happening to be part of the group, I met quite few people who were stable, and I wanted to match with them. And I never realized that it was quite too soon for me to want to merge with them, and for me to be living according to their standards, and forgetting that I was supposed to be a student by then. And unfortunately, I could not even further my studies. I dropped out on a third year because I was paying for my studies. Was to go to university, and me being accepted at university with the funds that I was getting from the banking industry, I was supposed to acquire my degree, and because I wanted to and I then had to really start over. So we need to learn as individuals not to impress our peers. We should not impress those that we live with. because if we begin to do that, then we're no longer living our lives, we're living their lives. And what I learned from there was to really look back and find my purpose. And my purpose in everything that I do was to go back to God and seek His advice, and for Him to be the one who give me the wisdom. So in everything that I do, before I do anything, I seek His wisdom. So that only happened when I accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior.
That you have given us a background on how your life kind of like worked out, and how did you find yourself where you are now. Let's hold that, and then we will go get to the purpose and how have you find your niche and and what you love now. I'm gonna allow Musa to introduce himself, and then Musa, then you will tell us what kind of plans did you have growing up. I know you are somebody who likes taking risks, and how have those things worked out for you?
Thank you very much, Muzaza. Greetings to everyone. My name is Musa Mufukeng. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm in the medical field. I specialize in brain and spine implants. We supply hospitals, private hospitals, and government hospitals. I would like to first start by reading a quote quickly. Life is painful, growth is painful, change is painful, but in the end, nothing is actually staying stuck where you do not belong. So those words, risk in my life. Because if you don't take a risk in your life, you'll always be stuck, and being stuck, you will live a life filled with pain and regret. So I don't believe in living a life regret. That is why I take a risk. I'm sure as we can continue, I will share more about where I come from and where I'm going. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Musa. Can be a little bit about where you are now, and how did you get there? Was this part of your whole plan that I'm going to leave the industry, the mining industry, and just start my own thing and push with so much passion?
Mina, engineer. I wanted to become an engineer to impress my family, because my family is about education. But then I felt pregnant, dropped out. But because I wanted to impress my family, went to college, was in the mine industry for 10 years. I was unhappy, like I hated the place. I'm a public person. I've been to Abantu. I love working with people, interacting with people, doing different things, and that is what I love doing. So after I was retrenched in 2017, I was like, this is it. It's the end of me. But somebody said, but V, you were unhappy. You can do something. You love being on TV. You used to go to auditions. You went for an audition, go Super Sport to become a presenter. So pursue that, and I thought, okay, why not? Last year, March, I started the printing business, and wow, I'm loving it. I love dealing with people, different people who create. Creativity is like window yam. So I'm at a space where I'm very happy, risky, but very happy, So, yeah.
Touched on the issues of taking risk and so forth. How has that been for you as you were trying to pursue to get your purpose in life, or what you are passionate about, what you love doing, which is the work that you currently do? What kind of risks have you taken, and how much have those risks cost you as an individual in terms of your own dreams, the goals, the dreams that you had for your life growing up?
To be quite honest with you, what I've learned when I Innocentia through life in general, if anything, I always say to people, many authors, many people who have written books, these people, they always refer back to the Bible. And they then take scriptures and just divert them according to whatever that will suit them. And there's a scripture that I always refer to when I encourage people and when I tell people about risk. One of the risk elements is that if anyone is going to wait for a weather for them to go and function at any level. If any person will have to wait for a rain, if any person will have to wait for a sun to blossom before they can go and work, that is a very dangerous move. We should not look at any situation that we encounter for us to do anything in life. And what we need to do in life is that we should not look at how we start. What is critical or what is pivotal is to look at what we end our destination, how we complete our assignment. And in everything that you do, you should not look at whatever amount that you begin your business with if you are in a business environment. If you are a motivator, you should not look for a big crowd for you to want to be a motivational speaker. You can start with 2, you can start with 3. Now, many of us, we want to begin any project with big amounts. We want to begin our assignments with big or humongous amounts of money. And the most important thing, we should focus on beginning with whatever that we have. So with me, what have helped me with my journey in my business, in my life in general, is to not wait for people, is not to look at when do we start. The most important thing that we should be focusing about, how do we complete whatever that we have begun. So that's how I look at risk. It doesn't matter how you start. What's important is how you end your destination.
That is so full of uncertainty, but it's all about, let me do this, let me try this, let me take this risk, let me, take this step. And if everything works out, yes, then you can say, I was not just sitting around waiting for things to happen. It reminds me of a quote by Albert Einstein when he said, a person who never makes mistakes have never tried anything new. It has just reminded me of that. What kind of risk have you taken in life, or what kind of opportunities have you taken most and then you failed in them, but then you had to work and over? Like, how many times have you failed, man? And but every time you manage to rise up to the occasion and make it work for you. Please share with us.
I've actually lost count of how many times I have failed, because I've always been a businessman in my heart. And I think I've been blessed with great job opportunities in corporate world, but I was never happy being in corporate, though I had great jobs traveling all over, but I was never happy. And because of that, I was always risking my position at work. Hence, I kept on changing jobs, trying different businesses, being in construction, being in trucking business, and losing lots and lots and lots of money. But because I believed, one day I will find my purpose, I will find what God has called me to do. And eventually it happened. I did find myself my field is actually a medical field. Let me just focus on this and do it. And I would like to touch on what Maposa said about when he said, if you wait for great moment, big money, you will never be able to start. So that's what happened to me when it was the time for me to start my business. I remember doing my business plan, and I needed about 3 to 4 million to start the business. I could have been discouraged, but because I have failed so many times, I was not scared. I took that risk and said, you know what, I don't have that kind of money, but I'm going to do it anyway. I remember when I started, I took my last 2,000 rand and flew to Cape Town, made a meeting with a manufacturing company in Cape Town, and went and represented my business to them. And I didn't even have money to buy stock and all that, but they bought into my idea and said, you know what, we will start you and give you this, you will repay us over time. So what I'm just trying to say is that you don't have to wait for big moments. You don't have to wait for big funding, because I've been applying for funding from banks, from government institutions, and you know what, getting that regret letter every time and time again. But above all that, I'm proud to say that I was able to use my own money, you know, making money, saving, buying, making money, saving, buying, and grow the business. Yes, starting business is not easy because you lose a lot of friends, you lose people. People start to, hey, you are crazy. Your family members, they start to doubt you and think, this one, he doesn't want to work, this one. So, but if at all you believe in yourself, in what you're doing, you stand the test of time, and eventually you make it. You open your own path. So, but all it takes is letting go of doubt and fear and just taking that step.
Zaza wrote on the comment section that unless you take those risks, you will never reach your true potential. Because sometimes I think our mindset are for, I need to get that education, get a job, and then, you know, live a successful life. But what about what is fulfilling for you? What makes you happy? Are you happy where you are? Are you happy working from 8 to 5? Are you happy receiving salary once a month? You know, so it's also about that. So I've also seen that you are doing a lot of community project where you are. I want to know how has that also added to the fulfillment that you have now in terms of, you know, you finding your purpose, finding your niche. How has that added to the overall fulfillment in terms of where you are in life now?
Like the 4 to 3, I was miserable. I was constrained and I couldn't do anything, you know. I did the same thing every day. I was bored. You see the same people. Breakdown. You already know for it. I know I'm going to do this and this and this and that, you know. But because of me, naturally, I'm a giving person. I have a good heart. Okay, I'm stubborn and stuff, but I have a good heart. And I've always been giving. My friends will always take advantage of me, and even some family members will do that because I'm that kind of a person. And then I thought about it for it. Why don't I use my money to good use? There's people who really need, who use you, not a person who's got money, but I know V's gonna pay for lunch. Why don't I take that money, you know? So I started with the toiletry drive last year. I remember my business was not doing well. It was COVID. It was September. I didn't have money. I took 3,000 rand from my credit cards and bought toiletries, you know. And my dad was like, and I'm like, I want to do it. And I was so happy after doing it, you know. And then I started with the uniform again. I'm like, no, man, V, do this. And Zaza, it brings fulfillment because people are needing us. I would say happy. It just brings a smile to my face. And it's actually blessings from God as well, because God gave us life. Why can't we give to his people, you know, the people who need the most? So I'm loving what I'm doing, and I will do it over and over and over again, you know, and I'm a queen. Why not?
Yes. Absolutely. I love what Mapaseka wrote on the comment that sometimes it does stand in our way of our full potential. So it's important that we come against fear, like we don't give fear a chance, because most of the time we don't achieve our true potential because we are scared, because we doubt even what we are capable of. And I've seen that with me. I had so much potential to be, I think, the best even in the world, but because of the kind of fear and doubt that I had and lack of confidence, some of the things they were delayed because of that in my life. I want to also speak to what who you talk about in terms of things that brings fulfillment, things that brings, you know, that kind of satisfaction, things that give you courage. And I would like maybe to find out from the panel. Let me first give you this quote by Walt Disney. I saw it somewhere along the week. It says, "All dreams come true if we have the courage to pursue them." That is Walt Disney who was saying that. I want to know from you guys, how are you keeping it going? What keeps you motivated to, you know, push for for your passion, push for your business, push for your life, to say that I'm going to achieve this no matter what. It doesn't matter what is going on, but I want to achieve this. What's keeping you guys going? What's motivating you? What is inspiring you every day to wake up and make it work?
It's there's this quote I normally write on my status and in Facebook, maybe that says, one day I'm going to tell my story in the biggest platform in the world. That is keeping me going good until I tell my story in the biggest platform in the world. And we know what is that platform, you understand? And then now I have a 18-year-old who looks at me and says to me, when I'm a voyeur push, when I'm a voyeur, I trust that age is no barrier for you. When you said one day you're going to be on TV, you said one day you're going to have a factory that says Queen V's factory, you understand? So it keeps me going. I see that factory, I'm going to have that factory, that big printing factory, and I'm going to have that orphanage. My daughter's going to look at me and say, yeah, I'm proud of this woman. So it keeps me going, and God's strength, like that guy, man, dude is carrying me like this. So he keeps me going. He keeps me going. And I keep myself going as well. I'm going to be in that platform one day. So yeah.
What is it that is keeping you going? Even after having failed every now in a while, but what is it that kept you going, and what keeps you motivated to do what you do?
It's loving what you do. I think Musa, touched it a bit. It's loving what you do. Problem that makes us to be frustrated in life is doing what we don't love doing. So if we invest our time doing what we really love, it's one of the most important things. So what keeps me motivated, it's because I do what I love, and having a drive for what you love is the most important thing. So that's what motivates me. Most of us, we tend to backslide in the corporate world, in any industry that we serve in. It's because we don't love what we do. So if we can only find whatever that we are called to do, automatically you will love it. So that's what drives me. What I do at the moment is what I love. So that, waking up in the morning, it motivates me because it's what I love. Waking up in the morning, going into my kettles, going to my sheep, going to my goats. Immediately after that, going into the tire business. It's what I love. So that automatically motivates me. So many of us, we backslide because we don't love what we do. So that's what motivates me.
For opportunities in life, I give people jobs that people don't even qualify for. I give people opportunities to work in industries where you would need a certain degree, but I believe that makes a difference in a whole lot of people's lives, and so that they can also feed their own families, one person at a time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Tell me, I'm just going to hijack this other question. What kind of lesson have you learned along the way in terms of your life?
I can simply say I have learned, being in business has really, really humbled me, has really, really made me appreciate life, especially after last year experiencing near-death situation. I'm grateful that I'm alive after COVID. And I believe, God has better plans. And I have learned, whatever that you wish to achieve or dream of, the fact that it is in your heart, it means I place it in your heart, and He will see to it to happen. It will happen.
Yeah,
thank you.
That's awesome. Queen V, what are the lessons that you have learned in your life so far?
Trust. Don't trust anybody. I had friends who nearly destroyed my business. So I didn't have a vulnerable, and I trusted people too much. So it's very important not to trust and not to let people in on a lot of things, especially when it comes to your plans. So I learned that a lot. Some of the things, it's important to keep things to yourself uzenze, and then abantu babone sowuzenzile, but do not expose yourself to people. I learned that. Trust. Don't trust anybody.
And what is it that you would like to be remembered for?
The Queen V that changed Mirafong City. Mirafong Town is a town. Yeah, Mirafong Town. There's so much that can be done in our town. It's a small town. Siya destroyan asakani. That's the sad part about our town, you know. So I want to bring that change. I want us to be united. I want us to be able to help one another. I want the young generations to learn from Tina, you know, especially teaching them about giving. Giving is a gift. They need to know what we need to give. We need to help each other. So I want to bring that change. One day, Queen V did this for us. I want that. That is my dream.
Wow, that's awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, we will agree that it has been quite an interesting conversation today. We have really learned a lot. We have really learned that in life, it's also about taking risks. In life, you have to keep yourself motivated. In life, you need to be able, to try and find your niche, to find what is it that you love doing. What is it that every time when you wake up, it gives you that boom to say that, yeah, I'm pushing this. So with all that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much to our panel members for sharing their stories, the stories of their success, of their failures, lesson learned there, and the stories of the kind of plans they had for their lives and how has that turned out. So we appreciate each and every one of you. Musamufu Gang, Queen Bisizani, Mulati Maposa, you guys were incredible. Thank you to all of our attendees. Thank you for bringing the chat box alive. It was really alive today. Please don't forget to follow us on YouTube, Shameless with Innocentia, also on Facebook, Shameless with Innocentia. It's been such a great time connecting with you one-on-one.